Hopefully by my birthday. Every year for my birthday. All right. Welcome to Iconic Konvo with
Diamond.
and Dejan Talks. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy 2020.
3.
2022 is gone.
I know.
Can you believe it?
Nope. I'm still sleeping. Kidding.
We've been dealing with COVID for what, 3 years strong now?
We're still dealing. What do you mean?
Yeah, we're still dealing with COVID for what,
Yeah,
3 years
we
strong
are.
now. At the end of 2019 all the way to 2020. That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
Surreal.
So I know it's the new year.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time of the year where everybody gets all happy and
Yeah.
they wanna create these vision boards, these
Or their
business plans,
resolutions.
these what's that word you just said?
Resolution.
Never heard of it. They create these ideas, these fairy tales
Right.
of what they're gonna accomplish this year. So do you have one of those that you plan on
No,
accomplishing
actually, I
this year?
just, rearranged some things, set some goals, checked off what I've already accomplished, and just, prioritize what needed to be accomplished next. And yeah, that's how I move. When you do the resolution, I fell victim many
Okay.
years. Hey, it's the new year, vision boards, all of that. I no longer say vision boards. I refer to it as my great friend Colette says, life mapping. Because when you're mapping your life, you're going to be more committed to it than just a vision board. Anybody can have a vision board, but when you're mapping your life course, you are, the captain of that ship. So you're going to make sure that that ship gets to its destination. So
That's true. That's true. Scripture says, "Write it down, make it plain."
pretty
Right?
much.
Typically, when we talk about it, we don't be about it. But when we actually
Absolutely.
put it in writing, we have a higher chance of actually fulfilling that desire, that goal, that
Correct.
plan. So it's not that I don't believe that vision boards is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's the plan? Besides cutting out a whole bunch of magazine pictures and having some good tea and some good food and some good conversation that day.
Right.
How do we execute? And a lot of times what I've seen is when people are doing these vision board events, and there's nothing wrong with your vision board events, so don't be coming up on here and in my comments talking about, oh, why
Come
you
on,
gonna
y'all.
talk about
Come on here
my
and
vision
listen,
board?
he
I
is
just
the
had a vision
target,
board. I got
okay?
one coming up. Listen, hold all that noise. What I'm saying is, what I've seen in the vision board sector is people have a lot of big goals.
Correct.
I need a house this year. I need a husband this year. I need a Range Rover this year.
Right.
I need $1 million in my bank account from Santa Claus this year.
Right. I mean, we get it, and you have to be realistic
Okay.
with everything that you're doing. And I believe with what we have always, reiterated on this show and emphasized is that everything that we do has to be realistic. It has to be something that's attainable. You can't set goals that's out of your reach. You have to make sure that you're setting goals that are within your reach so that once you get there, then you could set even higher goals. Because, hey, if you made it this far up the ladder, you can make it a few more steps to something else. But you have to make sure that you're setting up yourself to be successful and you are living a full life.
With that being said, just a quick plug-in, shameless plug. And make sure you guys go on Amazon and put in Dejan Talks, get your power of execution. Goals require sacrifice. If you don't know how to set those goals that she's talking about, if you're setting up too big goals, you need smaller goals, go on Amazon.com right now, put Dejan Talks, Power of Execution. That's the book for you. So back to you, young lady. So what I was saying is,
I love it.
Realistically, how do we measure our goals, first of all? And how do we know we can say, okay, this is what I have in front of me. How do I figure out what are those steps are going to be to actually execute on some of those goals? Because I think a lot of people have the desires. We got aspiration,
Right.
motivation. We're fueled up. New year, new opportunity. We're alive. A lot of people is not alive. So that in itself is a blessing, right?
Correct.
Okay, but how do I maximize on this blessing with these goals? What
You
are
have
some
to
of the
look at the
tools?
bigger picture. You have to look at your life in its full essence. You have to look at where you are currently, where you were in the past, and where you want to be. A lot of people live in the past or they're trying to live futuristically.
Big
We have
facts.
to look at our now. Living in your present is the best thing that you can do. Yes, it's great to reflect on the things that you've done in the past and
True.
say, hey, this is what I could do better. And then from there, you could set certain goals so that you could meet those attainable goals in the future. And that's how you set yourself up to succeed.
I like that. And I think a lot of us, unfortunately, there's a couple of variables that allows us to live in one of those two paradigm shifts that you were referring to, the past, near, the future, right?
Correct.
So a lot of us, we're going to use excuses, trauma, pain, all of those things to keep us looking at the rearview mirror.
Right.
And we wonder why we keep crashing, or we keep revisiting very similar situations over and over. We're like a hamster revisiting the same stories with different people or different environments, right? Then a lot of us, we're so ambitious, we're so futuristically driven about our goals and stuff that we can't even take time, like the poem says, take time to smell the roses, right? Very famous poem, right? But however, we don't take time to appreciate the now. Scripture again says that yesterday is gone and tomorrow has enough worry of its own, right?
Exactly.
But it seems like we're rushing to the tomorrow worry, but yet we're not really maximizing on what we can do today.
Right.
Right? Because everybody's like, what was this? I was listening to this podcast recently. The guy's like, I don't have 24 hours in my days. He's like, my days are a lot longer than 24 hours. He's like, but how do you maximize? How do you make your day longer than 28 hours? He said, because I'm starting my day different than anybody else. You start your day at 8. I start my day at 4. You go to sleep at 10. I go to sleep at 1.
Correct.
He says, my days are completely different than yours, so I'm able to execute more because I have a more aggressive, ambitious goal, and I have a timeline on my goal, right? We all have the same 24 hours, but how do you maximize on it? And that's, I think, a lot of people, when they're looking at what their future is, they're so driven and emotionally attached to the future that a lot of times they're not grateful for the now, like you were saying.
I'm not even sure if a lot of people are so attached to the future. What I'm seeing, and I believe, not think, I believe, it's an issue, is that everybody is in competition with the next person or in competition with social media because, and I say with social media because, see, a lot of times when things are posted, they may not be the full truth or what's factual. However, this is what people are comparing themselves to, or where they are in their personal lives to what they see on social media. And this is a huge issue because you're like, okay, you're comparing yourself to something that you're not even sure is factual.
I love that. So, I'm a picture person, right? I like people to see it. So I had saw this picture, this meme one time. I don't even know if we even use memes anymore, the term meme. We use reels. We still use the term meme.
Oh, actually,
social media, it changes so fast, so I can't keep up. All right? What exists today?
Listen, I will forever be a meme person.
It's like Jordans. You just can't have enough because it comes out today and tomorrow you better get it the next one, right? So I remember I saw this meme exactly about what you saw. It was this guy with a pair of Jordans. And he's sitting there, he's taking a picture of his Jordans, so he's focusing on the Jordans, right? Then we expounded on the pictures. Now, everybody on social media is like, bang, bang, bling, like, because those Jordans were fresh. Then they expounded on the picture. He's living in like a little apartment with nothing in it. He's eating ramen noodles. His clothes are torn and dirty, right? But what is he doing? He's only highlighting the highlight of his life, but the reality of his circumstance is completely different.
Correct.
And people, I think, have this fallacy where they fail to understand social media is a fictional character world that is not real. People are just going to allow you to see the highlight in the canvas and that caveat of what they want you to see. But the reality, nobody's going to tell you I struggled today on social media.
You know why? And I have no issue. Let them have it. I have no issue with what's going on now and the relevance of virtual reality. However, yes, they created the metaverse and all these things. However, people are already living in virtual reality.
My kid lives 30 minutes a day every day, nonstop. My son does not live.
Right. So again, we have to appreciate ourselves. We have to appreciate what we know is real. Look around you, see what you can reach out and touch, and things that you know are consistent or things that you know that are actually real. And then at that time you could say, hey, I love the energy that I'm getting from this person or this group of people. So this is what I'm going to build on, not something that you just see on social media. Because what energy can you get from what you just see on social media? I know our show is on social
greed,
media.
envy.
However, we actually build relationships or have rapport with the guests that we bring on,
Most
or we have
definitely.
rapport and we build with the people that we have as our viewers. And shout out to our viewers, our sponsors, and
We love you
everyone
guys.
else. We love you guys. We actually have intricate relationships with these
Most
people,
definitely.
and that is why we're able to continue to build and we are successful in the things that we're doing, because there's levels to this. It's not just about, oh, I want to be the next hot thing on television or the next
Ain't
hot
that
thing
the
on
truth?
radio or the next hot thing on social media and blow up and, oh my gosh, I hit the mark. No, that's not it. Everything that we're doing, we're purpose driven, and we're here to set the bar. We're here to make a change, be the difference, and offer solutions, implementing strategies.
Y'all heard her. Y'all heard what Ikonic Konvo is all about. We ain't that superficial stuff, all right? Ain't no flake around here. We here to set seeds that's gonna reap a harvest tomorrow. We about impact. Right? But that's it's real though. What you're saying is real, and I think a lot of people they're so stuck on fame.
Yeah.
Everybody's so stuck on being seen, looking rich, playing pretend. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. If that's you, well, wear the shoe well, okay? Playing pretend. And I think we just undervalue those day-to-day interactions. And how do we really build? Because I think because like you said, social media has created this rapport where if you don't look like something, if you don't have something, if you don't have a certain amount of certain things, then all of a sudden your value as a person has diminished. So now I have to
Your
compete.
value less.
Yeah, so now I have to compete with an ideology that will change in the next 2-3 years. Because one thing that we've learned about this ecosystem, this society, is that it can't make up its mind. It's bipolar like a mother
that.
sucker.
I love that.
Right?
You
It's
brought
constantly
that. No, I
changing.
love that you referenced that
Right.
as the ecosystem.
All right, let's use the model industry, right? Mm-hmm. One time in the model industry, being anorexic and not eating your food and vomiting it out was the thing to do. Am I
That is
lying?
true. Either that or bulimia.
It was the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Girls would eat today, get it out, because they needed to look like freaking stick
Mm-hmm.
if they were going to be captured on camera or get that position, right? If you were a nice, thick woman with some curves to you,
It was an issue.
you were dead. You were never going to get behind the lens. Oh no, this is fat, or this doesn't look
I
good.
mean, it's
Right?
such is the same as now.
So that was sexy. That was what was defined. Hey, they defined it, right? Black men, we define things different. We like meat, but that's how they defined it, right? Now in today's society,
Is that
what
true
was it?
though?
Yeah, it's true. What black
This
men
is
don't
a
like
whole
meat?
topic for a whole nother day.
Man, you
y'all.
better show me what black men don't like
No, no,
meat.
no, no,
Because
no, 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 no. So diverting a little bit, you guys.
There we go.
And
They should be shifting my conversation. But
no, I like that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you finish, and then we could bring it back.
Okay,
to
cool.
where we're going.
So, but then we look at today's society. The standards have changed, right? Now everybody's trying to inject. Everybody's trying to get BBLs. Everybody's trying to look a certain way.
You took it there. That's where we were going.
You know I was gonna go.
So that's where I was going. So great minds think alike.
Right? You know I was gonna go there, and this is now the cultural norm and the substance. Now, even being natural is a problem.
Yeah.
You see what we just did right there? What they used to hate on, we finally got there, and now we're hating on what's natural, and then we switch it up again. So society can't make up its mind on what it want to do. Every day it redefines what success is. It redefines what beauty is. It redefines what. Remember back in the 70s, 80s, the clothes we were wearing? Go to H&M and tell me what you see in the stores right now.
Pretty much similar stuff that we've.
They just brought back.
It's just everything. Life is all about it's a circle of life. It's a cycle.
Oh,
we
okay, Lion King.
recycle.
Okay,
Exactly.
Lion
We
King.
recycle
Okay.
everything. But I love that you brought up that point because that's where I was going.
Yep.
There was a topic of conversation.
Word.
Shout out to my little group on Facebook that have amazing conversations every day. And the topic was talking about this whole new BBL and
Sensitive
how a lot of people are so do or die if I don't get it. And the question that was posed is, do men actually prefer the BBL over the natural woman? And there were a lot of men that said, oh, I love a natural woman. However, there were some women that came back with, hold up, wait a minute, and it was, you may behind closed doors, but out in public, you're the first one to, ooh, or she's fine, or you're quick to jump in that person's DMs. Mm-hmm. And then you have the natural woman. You don't see her DMs blowing up like that and then the one gentleman was actually very honest and was just like, well, they're nice to look at. And it's true. Everything is nice to look. Even back then with the bulimia and anorexia, they were nice to look at, because, they were model-esque. They were the it factors. That's what you're supposed to look like, the imagery.
Until Tyra Banks came on the scene.
Okay. Mm-hmm. However, what are we telling our women, and even now our men, because some men are actually getting the... not necessarily the BL portion of it, but there, it's like plastic surgery and different things.
I'm just sitting on edge, waiting to be let off my leash so I can go.
Go ahead, you're let off.
I'm let off my leash.
I'll let you loose.
Oh Lord Jesus,
release.
All right, so let me show you something about.
We into the BBWs,
right? Yeah, let me tell you something about women that I've learned. Y'all got short-term memory. Watch this.
Short-term.
Don't rebuttal yet. This is what we practice effective
I'm a
listening
BBW.
skills.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to practice effective listening skills right now. This is not the rebuttal stage. Watch this. Remember a guy by the name of Tyson Beckford, the model?
Yes.
Ooh, sexy. Look at you. Yeah, you see how he did that? Yes. Yes, boy. I remember him. Remember that video he did with the Brat on the beach? Yes, right? Remember Roy Jones? He did the video.
No, D'Angelo.
Right. Oh, D'Angelo. Remember that D'Angelo when he was naked, ripped? That boy, right? You remember that? Maxwell. Remember all them boys? Remember all them boys in the hood? It was always like the Omar Epps. Wait, I'm not done. Let me drive my point.
I'm saying yes.
Let me stop. Let me drive this point. Let me drive this point for you.
Drive
right?
it home.
All right, good. Because it's a power driver, so you got to take it, right? Tip drill. No, who did that? You know who did that. So, right?
Drive the point.
Louisville. So, look. So, what I'm saying is, it's amazing how we can always say men drive the narrative on beauty because that's what we spend money on, right? Women drive the narrative on what is successful and what looks good because that's what you guys are going to accept. We don't have a choice in it, right? So while we can say, and I'll admit it, men will say this is appealing to look at. And that's a factual statement. It's a work of art. It looks good. It's not ugly. We will smash it. Big facts. We will not wife it.
Interesting.
We would not wife it. Are they getting wifed? Are they getting wifed?
Some, yes.
We're talking
Do they
about
last?
the less than,
no.
We're talking about the less than 1% that athletes and entertainers are married. I'm talking about the 99% of real men out there.
I mean, even in that world, they get wifed, but then it doesn't last.
It doesn't last.
Because it's a facade.
It doesn't last. The key
because
point
it's
is
exterior.
Because the internal work is not there.
Exactly. You cannot compare the two.
The value is not there.
Exactly.
Because after they open up their mouth a couple of times,
it's going to catch up to you one day. Because it has to match.
All of that beauty fades the moment she starts disrespecting the man, devaluing the man, talking down to the man, talking to all of that beauty all of a sudden starts to really fade really fast.
Correctly. And I mean, it's not even about talking down to the man. It's self-esteem. If a woman is not confident about herself, then of course the conversation is totally different because she's always a Debbie Downer in the group or in her home, and it's never happy.
So with the same breath, I've always heard as a man, I'm light skinned, so I bruise easy, right? So I've always been at a disadvantage all my life, right? Because what I've always heard as a light skinned man, and I feel bad for Michael too, because he struggled the same problems I had, right? Whatever, right? So what Michael and me struggled with, right?
I'm so through with you right now.
Hey, I want tall, dark, and handsome all our lives. That's all we heard.
But wait a minute now. We had our light skinned brothers that had their
less
moment.
Than 6 seconds.
Okay.
With Genuine and Shamar Moore. It lasted less than 6 seconds.
I mean, it was the same with the women.
6 seconds.
I'm light skinned. So it's the same. It was the same thing.
We got 6 seconds of fame with those two dudes.
Listen, we had the song "The Darker the Berry, the Sweeter the Juice."
Hey, don't blame Tupac.
Now.
That's Tupac. That ain't my fault.
Listen, so we had it all.
That ain't my fault. Tupac did that.
You know what's sad?
But you see what I'm saying? Hide both sides of the street.
This is all stereotypical.
Exactly.
And this is why the conversations we have and the relationships that we have built along the way are so relevant and pertinent for our growth with our mindset. Because if we are not strong-willed or we don't have a strong mind and have that confidence to say that regardless of what anybody or society says, the stereotypical things that are thrown at us on a day-to-day basis, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm fine. Like myself, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm fine. You know, been there, done that. I've been on the slender side, I've been on the thicker side, I've been on the chunkier, fat side. Hey, I've been there, done it all. So I'm okay. I'm confident. Am I happy with where I am now? Maybe not, because it's a work in progress. You know, things happen, health issues, different things. However, it's a personal choice. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, my life is over. I'm not where I'm. No, because guess what? I'm Michelle. I'm me. I'm beautiful. I know I'm intelligent. I know what I bring to the table. So I'm good. And this is what we need to instill, not only in our young women, but also in the young men. And the conversation that we're having is so deep because it goes even further than just the exterior and the interior. It goes to the mindset and why we're having so much issues in the world within the youth not feeling confident about themselves, and then they're taking it out on the wrong people. And this is part of the issue with. We could tell you how it ricochets, gun violence, how they feel among their peers, how they react in school. Like, this is the issue because of what imagery is set out there in social media, in their day-to-day life. And not only that, sometimes it's also the household, how you're raised. Because guess what? Don't know what the parents' mentality is because how were they raised? Are they instilling the correct morals in their children? It starts at home. You have to make sure that you're instilling the proper morals, values in your children so that when they go out in society, they're fully equipped to say, guess what? This is me. Love me or hate me. I'm going to do me regardless.
Disclaimer. All my BBL lovers out there, we are not picking on the BBL people.
Listen,
the BBL
they didn't say BBL. Did you not see that note? It says BBW. Yes, that's right.
Okay, so we are not picking on our community. However, what we are saying is you have to do the internal work and love yourself regardless, whether you get a BBL or you don't get a BBL, whether you go to the gym, you don't go to the gym, whether you like your ice cream late at night. None of that matter, right? What matters is...
I like a little of everything.
You know what I'm saying? Do you love you minus that?
Exactly.
Do you love your mind? Do you love your spirit? Can you even deal with yourself? What is your thoughts? Would you date yourself? Would you love yourself? Would you want to be around you?
Absolutely.
And those are some good questions that people should really ask themselves. And I think a good way to start off a new year is not so much about mindset. It's not so much about things that we want to achieve. It's how do you want to change? Who do you want to be character-wise? I think that's really going to tailor everything else that you're going to do in life.
Right.
Because if your mindset is not right, if your spirit's not right, if your heart's not right, and if you ain't got no peace, then what's the point of it? I see you reading. So what you reading? Because you know I can't see it. You got to let me know what they say.
I'm just saying, they're saying we into the BBWs.
Oh, now I can see it.
Listen, they're saying it again. We're into the big, black, beautiful.
You know,
okay.
I'm a black man. I mean, I love big butts and I cannot lie. I know I can't deny. You know, isn't that what the song Shrek said? And I'm saying it is what it is. That's what Donkey said. So it is what it is, guys.
Listen, we love it. Thank you, guys.
We appreciate y'all. But you know, I think it is a valid conversation, and I think as we shift into the new year, I know we've beat up this concept of self-love, and there's nothing wrong with self-love.
Hi, Shabaka.
But I think there is more to self-love than how we're projecting. I think self-love has become where we're so in tune with being selfish,
right,
that we negate or belittle everybody else. That's not self-love.
No, we have to be selfless. However, we are entitled to be a little selfish at times because we need to have that time when we recoup and save our energy to reflect and continue to, be the greater self that we are.
How do you find when you need to do that, though?
It's energy. Your body knows. Your body tells you.
Shut down, take a break, take a step back
from
everything.
Is it
after I cursed them out?
No. It shouldn't get there.
Not after I snap.
No, it shouldn't get there.
After
You
I
should
lose
know.
all my hair because of stress. How do I know when? Because a lot of people, and the reason why I asked it in that fashion, you'll notice people do that after they burnt out.
It's true.
That's why I asked it, right?
It's very
and
true.
I'm not trying to be facetious or
Oh,
trying
it's
to make
time
fun
for
of it.
vacation.
I'm not trying to make fun of what I'm. The reason why I'm saying that is goes back to exactly what we started at the top of the show. Micro to macro goals, right? And this should be a goal. You know, I know me. I get angry real easy. I get stressed out real easy. I know this is my highest trigger point. What do I have set in place before I even get there so I can pull back? That should be a goal. Because if that's not a goal, you know what's going to happen?
Are you living a full life? We go back right back to the same thing. You have to ask yourself that question. Are you living a full life?
Yeah.
What does it mean to live a full life?
You know, I think that should be is Michael in there? I think that should be a
Homework?
great no, that'd be a great segue for us to transition, go into commercial break and come back. Because are you living your full life? Because I think that's a great question. Because I don't think, my opinion based, don't beat me up. I believe how people are defining that are going to be based on materialism. When you look at the quality of today's society, when you look at the quality of what people value,
Monetary means?
to live your best life is to spend a lot of money, make a lot of money, buy things that
Money
are
is necessary, yes.
it's
But is
superficial.
it
I've never seen money cuddle with somebody when they were crying. I've never seen money help you with a traumatic experience.
can't take it with you?
I've never seen money said, it's okay, I'm going to be there when you're heartbroken. I've never seen money go and pray with you when you had no more faith left. I've never seen money say, I love you. And good or bad, I'm right there with you. Now, is money a tool that we need to accomplish things in life? Most definitely. It is a very effective tool if we use it properly. However, if that is the core of what we're striving to get or who we're striving to become, we have a very shallow belief system and we have very shallow goals.
Right.
Because people that chase money don't ever get money. Because money is just naturally going to be attracted to you based on you fulfilling your purpose and your goals. Because if you're fulfilling your purpose and you're doing the things that you were called to do, money's going to be attracted to
Oh
you.
man, that means I have to go and change my vision board, huh?
You trying to be a midget stripper?
I wasn't kidding.
I mean,
Vi-
you
we
don't wanna be a
already
midget
talked about it.
stripper?
I do not have a vision board. I have a map, a
Oh.
life map.
So you don't want to be a midget stripper.
I mean, I'm a major stripper in the bedroom. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
Hey, I think with that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, guys. We're gonna be right back. You're just in the Iconic Konvo
You
with
started it, Diamond.
Deshaun Talks only on Power 108.9.
Welcome back to Iconic Convo with Simon and
Dijon talks.
Hey Dijon. You are so goofy.
I know. It'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, well, we delivered on a few things, so yeah, you brought up the conversation, so yeah, carry on, sir, carry on.
No, I think the top of the hour of the show was definitely needed because I think a lot of
Absolutely.
people, again, just to drive back the point we're talking about, it's a new year, and people love to set New Year's resolutions. Just in case you haven't figured it out yet through this conversation, I could care less for New Year's resolutions. I believe that's the biggest hoax we can create for ourselves to fail. Now, do I believe that you can create strategic plans for your life
Absolutely.
to execute? Most definitely, you should create some effective micro and macro plans that you would like to accomplish and achieve. This is how we really achieve stuff in today's society.
Restore your life.
Restore your life. Okay, with that being said, you know what I'm saying? Hey. Shameless plug. Make sure you guys check out restoredapparel.com. Right?
so through it right now.
Only the freshest gear in the United States. If you ain't got restored, what you doing, pimping? I know y'all not buying Balenciaga no
He
more, right?
said the freshest scare in the United States is the Iconic Konvo
That is true.
hoodies.
That
So
is true.
get
That
with
is
it and
true.
make sure you put in your order.
That
Let's
is
go.
true.
New year, new you. Let's go.
So you get a
Iconic
restored
Konvo.
t-shirt and an iconic sweatshirt. Make sure you get that.
Yes.
We're better than Balenciaga. I know you're not supporting Balenciaga. You're not supporting us.
Absolutely.
10 times cheaper, 10 times better. Feels good.
You know
so,
what?
So back what we're talking about. I really believe that people, they mean to live better lives.
Mm-hmm.
They mean. However, I think people have been bamboozled into an ideology that doesn't work.
Right.
And it has become a big money scheme. You know, we start the top of the years with these conferences, these empowerment retreats, these vision boards. Please, the vision board people to come beat me up. And all of these other things that hype us up, but don't really prepare us for when we hit that brick wall
It
or
just
when we
needs to
hit
be
those
consistent.
obstacles.
It needs to be consistent. The retreats are great. It shouldn't just be at the top of the year. We should do quarterly retreats because that's a time for us to reflect. You asked about how do we know when we need to just tap out and say, I need a me moment. That's when when we work in corporate America or when we do things, we have a time and place for everything. We have quarterly things that are done. So why not designate some time for yourself quarterly? Hey, this time of year, I'm going to take a me time. Do it again another 3 to 4 months.
You know, I've learned that this is extremely important. I have not done a very good job in this area of my life. What I've done very well in my life is work my ass off. I've worked.
And jump around for everybody else.
And I've worked. I've worked. And I've worked a lot. What I've failed at as a man, and I'm not sure if it's the same thing for women, but I know a lot of women that does the same thing, is I don't make time for me.
Right.
I'm there as a dad. I'm there as a brother.
Great dad.
Right?
Kudos.
Appreciate you. I'm there as a brother.
Great brother.
I am there as a mentor. I am there as a businessman. I am there as a motivational speaker. I am there, but I am not here.
Yeah, you yell at me all the time for stuff, and I have to yell back at you. And that's good. That's when you have accountability partners.
I'm
and that's
calling
what
the kettle black. So what?
I mean, and that's the point. You're supposed to have accountability partners.
true.
Because when you have people that truly care about you and keep you accountable to your cause, hey, we know that we are purpose driven. However, if we are purpose driven without taking care of what we need to do purposefully, which is take care of ourselves first so that we could give the message that was given to us, then what's the point?
And it's so funny. I say this to people all the time. You're no good to anybody if you're no good to yourself.
You better preach.
I can't take that advice from myself.
You got to
for
love
nothing.
you first before you can give the love to everybody else.
Yeah, I need to put that on my mirror, my affirmation, and wake up every morning and be like, Negro, do you first, then do everybody else.
Exactly.
Idiot. I need that. And you know what? I used to do that and actually did really help with my mental state. When I used to wake up, I would have these little notes. I wouldn't write on my mirror, but I had these little notes on my mirror. And I would read them every morning. And believe it or not, my mental psyche for the day was actually better than it would be on other days. I was actually more productive. I was more happy. Oh, I don't like the word happy. I have more joy. And my day went better because my mindset started on the right step. I didn't wake up still mad from the night before. I didn't wake up, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, like we like to say. I didn't wake up mad at the world because even if I woke up mad, I'd shift my mind the moment I saw those affirmations. And And for some reason, it worked.
Great. Speaking about affirmations,
What's up?
I mean, we know affirmations, go hand in hand with quotes.
Do
I
they
know
now?
Yeah, I know you had some quotes for us. I had a
Yeah,
few, but
yeah.
you took over because you think you're just a captain. and
I mean,
everything.
I got the trusted iPhone over here. And I'm saying sorry to all the Android viewers. I'm really sorry to hear that you guys are still using Android. God bless you. Please upgrade. But that's another subject for another day.
I'm so thrilled with you
It is what it is. Y'all love y'all little WhatsApp. I get it. But however, today's MLK Day. Mm-hmm. Right?
What does that mean?
Yesterday was his birthday.
What does that
So
mean?
happy birthday, MLK. Right?
And we're not going to talk about that statue. The
No.
unveiling of that statue.
It was
But
an-
that's a whole other topic
I'm
for
out
a
of the
whole
loop.
other day.
What statue?
A whole nother topic
You know I
for
don't
a
watch
whole nother
TV,
day.
so what are you talking about?
I appreciate the gesture.
It was a
However,
statue.
I feel that they should have incorporated the actual head, like, a full sculpture from the head, shoulders down. It was just, the arm when he was embracing, him and Coretta were embracing each other, and
There's no head?
there's no head. So it depends on how you are looking, the angle of what you're looking at. So many things could be misconstrued.
Wait.
I don't want to go there.
Who
It
did
was
this?
like the
Who
huge-
did this and when?
My name is Ben, and I'm not in it. I plead the fifth. that is a part of my amendment, right in this wonderful United States of the Americas.
So, in case y'all don't know, I don't never watch TV.
I don't like it.
I don't have time to watch TV.
I don't like it a lot.
No. Okay. But nonetheless, today we have declared in the United States as MLK Day because of some of the things that he's done. He was a revolutionary of his time. What he stood for, the missions he stood for,
Correct.
Standing in the midst of injustice, held the biggest march so far known to man in the United States. Obama tried to do it in 2008, but he couldn't even match that. Think about that, right? So he was a man of God. That's what we called him. He was a man that stood against injustice for all people, but he specifically spoke on behalf of our people, guys. Okay, our people. And today we were recognizing him in the United States. I don't know if the rest of the world recognize who he is, but we're recognizing him in the United States. However, I'm a quote guy. I love writing. I love quotes. I love poetry. I love just the wordplay, instruction, and different things, and just the way the mind works, right? This guy had some powerful ones. And I wanted to dissect a few of them on behalf of MLK Day because I still think a lot of those
You and
still
this
are applicable.
dissecting.
I mean, they're applicable today, right? So this is one he wrote. He says, "We must use time creatively in the knowledge that the time is always right to do right." Doesn't that speak to today's society? Think about that. We live in such a creative atmosphere in today's society. I mean, if creativity has ever been on the highest height ever, it is this generation.
It's plateaued, yes.
Listen, they have hit new heights and plateaus that we couldn't even fathom, especially with the benefit of technology, right?
Absolutely.
But what I love was that transition be past. First of all, you needed a creative mindset to be able to accomplish anything. But then he says, and the knowledge that the time is always right to do right. I love hearing people say, I don't have it right now. I don't have it. I don't think I can. Or, what can I do? Or, another one that I've always heard is, and the silence in face of injustice is just as injustice as the silence. Meaning that if you see injustice taking place and you remain silent, you're just as guilty as the person creating the injustice yourself. Right? It is always the right time to do right. The moment is not tomorrow it is today. And I think a lot of people were looking for MLKs, we're looking for the next Malcolm X, but nobody wants to be that.
So when you say do right, what do you mean to do right? Because that's such a broad
There we go with
statement.
the politically correct
I'm
statement.
sorry, that's a broad statement.
There's no more indefinite truth in today's society.
Okay.
Right? It's
I
like
like that.
Think about it. We
I
live
like
in a
that.
society where there's no more indefinite truth, right?
I mean,
it
like
doesn't
you
exist
say,
anymore, right?
remember I'm playing you now.
I got
we
you.
have to break it down
Devil's
into layman
advocate.
terms
I got
for
you.
those that
Right.
that are not comprehending what we're trying to.
And that's
put
a
out
valid
there.
question. That's a valid statement. So for me, because I know I live in a society that's so finical and frickle, and anything I say, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, you're stepping on our toes." I don't care, but
Two reviews. This
I don't care. I don't care. But right is a moral compass, and I know it's hard for people to understand that, because what is a moral compass? Well, who defines morality or not morality? I can't tell you that God defines morality. For me, God defines morality. For you, it can be the way you were raised up with your family. For you, it can be the things that you think that you deem that you can or can't do, or the things that you think that's injustice to you or in your neighborhood or in your circumstances.
That you can and cannot accept.
Correct, right? So when we were stating the fact that when MLK said the fact that it is always a time to do right, it is when you see something that goes against your moral belief system.
I like that.
It goes against your moral belief system.
I'm calling you out. Come
right?
on now, bring it.
Do it. Don't be a bystander. I hate looking at videos like World Star or these other videos on IG and TikTok and Facebook where you see somebody getting beat up by 10, 20 people, but there's like 30 people recording it.
And the reason why I kept pushing you to bring it there and break it down into layman terms, because we, regardless of the color of our skin, we all bleed the same color. It doesn't matter. We are built the same. We have those little sensory chips in our heads, in our brains, in our body, whatever, that goes off when something does not feel correct. And 9 times out of the 10, you're like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
This doesn't sit well with me. And of course, you have the very, very slim 1%ers out there that some very traumatic things happen in their life.
They just numb everything.
And it's numb.
Yeah, it's numb.
Not that it has never been there. They just blocked it off.
They build up these calluses and walls.
Exactly.
I agree.
Therefore, what I'm saying is we all have these trajectories. We all have these sensors that tell us, hey, something is wrong. This isn't right. But who has the courage to stand with what they're feeling and open their mouth and say, this is not what we're supposed to do? Let's take a stance, do corrective measures, implement certain strategies, rebuild, and as everybody loves to use this new terminology, bridging the gap. What's bridging the gap? What are we bridging? How do you bridge the gap? What is the gap?
I think one of the biggest hindrances to that reality is 2 things that I've seen in today's society. Thing 1, you put the money in their mouth and you shut them up. Shove some money in their mouth and you shut them up. Thing 2 that I've heard, this is the people that don't have the money. If it ain't impacting my family, if it's not impacting my immediate family, it's not my problem.
Right. But that's why I like what I loved that you read that quote, because he referenced everything that we just spoke about in one little quote.
Yep. And here's another one that I've always liked this one, because the way I view this one is you're going to have some struggles. And let me read it so you guys can understand. If you can't fly, run.
Yes.
If you can't run, walk.
If you can't walk,
crawl. But whatever you do,
keep moving.
You have to keep moving forward. No, it's not just moving
forward.
Some people move. You talk about people looking in the rearview mirror. You're not moving forward.
Ever forward.
You move because you have 2 choices or 3: stand still, move back, or move forward.
Ever forward.
We always in this show we always say fall forward. It's okay to fail, but when you fall forward, right? Because you're learning something. You're getting 1 step closer to where you should have been anyway. You fail, but you're gonna get back up and you're gonna move again, right? The most righteous man falls 7 times, but guess what? He's gotta get back up. What does that mean? You're gonna have some challenges. So he's saying there's gonna be seasons where you're gonna be able to run. You're gonna have the strength. What? I'm flowing where the money's coming in, business is going right, wife is happy, husband's happy, kids are healthy, everything's moving. Then the pandemic hits, and you're not running. The business is not running. You need to learn to walk again. Right. Start the business all over again. Forget that. You can't even start it all over again. You got to start from scratch. You need to learn to crawl again.
Right.
Learn something new, because what you were doing is archaic and doesn't fit today's society anymore. It's like trying to sell me a CD at the barbershop now. Remember those days? Hey, I used to love my DVD man, CD Man. He used to pop up at the barbershop and he had them bootlegs with people walking across the screen.
Right.
But I would have watched that thing because I didn't have it. Now I want to go to the movie theater.
Correct.
Right? Nobody doing that no more. Nobody got LimeWire where we getting our music from no more.
You're so silly.
Hey,
Right.
don't act like you. Nobody's sitting here on a Saturday morning with a cassette player recording our favorite jams that's gonna play for an hour long, so we could replay back those jams. Because guess what? How else you gonna get that?
Right.
So everything in life we have to learn to shift and change. Some parts of your life you're gonna have a lot of success. That doesn't mean there's not gonna be some challenges that's gonna come test that success and say, slow down. This is the season of your life you need to walk. Just because you're no longer running and you're walking doesn't mean you're not making forward progress.
Right.
You're just not moving at the same pace that you used to walk in. And sometimes I think we judge ourselves against the highest climax of where we were.
That's so true.
I do it all the time. I'm like, man, I remember when I was able to do this and I had this, man.
Right.
And now I'm like,
Terrible.
right? To me, I think a lot of people can find value in that. When you hear something like that, how does that speak to you? If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do,
Ever forward.
keep moving forward.
It speaks volumes. And shout out to my girl, Hannah Kelly. Hey,
What's
love
up, Miss
you.
Hannah?
Love you, Kelly. Miss Kelly Storm, okay?
Hello,
Love you.
Miss Kelly Storm.
Love you, girl, always and forever, ever. I love that statement because it speaks volumes. And I believe in energy and I believe everything's happened in divine timing. Just as how, Kelly Storm just popped up and said, hey, that's my girl. And I love her to pieces beyond because she's a person that I believe, and you've had the opportunity to meet her.
Yes, I have.
Kelly is very gifted, and I'm taking it there
Lots of
because
vocal range.
yes, and with everything that she's done, she's been through a lot of trials, different circumstances in her life, and she's been there for family. The same thing with yourself, same thing with
With you.
myself, and going above and beyond, not taking care of you and not focusing on you. However, one thing that I could say is, I never see where she just throws in the towel and just says, this is it for me. She's ever moving forward. I've seen her say, oh, this is not it for me. This doesn't feel right. I don't believe this is where God destined me to be, and I've seen her say, oh, this one is a fail. However, I just saw something that she posted and she's doing her thing in New York and she's working with some amazing people that I had the opportunity to work with. And it just
Word.
goes to show you that even though when you're set up in life, you meet certain people along your path, along your journey, does that mean necessarily that that's the moment that you're supposed to work with that person? Not necessarily. Everything has divine timing and it's ever forward, because if you stopped, the purpose that you're supposed to get to, the destination that you were supposed to get to, like the now that she's in, she wouldn't have made it there. Now she's doing what she's supposed to do, and we love you back tremendously. And it's the same for you and I, ever forward. We've had so many things thrown at us throughout last year and, even the beginning of this year,
Lord knows.
and there are times when both of us were like, oh, we're just going to throw the towel in. But then guess what? You would say to me, Michelle, maybe not today. Just take a moment. And I did the same for you.
Yep.
Maybe not just take that time, relax, recoup. And when we come back, we have the energy and we have the message and we deliver the message the way it was supposed to be
Effectively.
delivered. Because
Most definitely.
sometimes when you force it, the message doesn't come out as it was supposed to. And that's why it's important to keep moving forward. Even though you may have stopped for a moment, you may have failed. You may have just fell flat on your face, like you said. But guess what? You fell forward, but did you stay stuck or did you pick yourself up and keep moving to the destination?
So, Miss Kelly, you got your flowers. Those were some amazing, 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 amazing flowers, right? And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And when you look at the landscape of a lot of people's lives, that has been their reality. I think about the story that we all grew up versus the tortoise and the hare. Right? Everybody wants to run fast to get absolutely nowhere.
Slow and steady wins the race.
And sometimes you got to crawl and move slow. But as long as you keep moving forward. We're going to do a couple more before we get out of here. We're getting close to the end of the show.
Ooh, I like that, Kaya.
What did Kaya say?
She said, fight, pray, or flight, run. To move forward, you have to be a fighter. Anything else is non-negotiable.
Facts.
Listen, factual.
Big facts.
I love it. Huge shout out to
Big
you,
facts.
Kaya,
Big
with
facts.
your gorgeous self.
Big facts. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter.
That's why you have a big mouth.
I guess my life is not going to end.
You have a big mouth for a reason. So do I.
My life is not going to end. Let no man pull you low enough to hate him. I want to pause right there.
Wow,
I'm not going to move on to the next one.
Speak it to the choir.
Before we get into this one, hey, if you're in the Boston area, Fall River area, I believe, and you're unemployed and you're looking for a job, there's a company in the Fall River area called New Generation Transportation. They have a wheelchair service, non-emergency wheelchair, and non-emergency stretcher service. And they're looking to expand and hire a bunch of people in the area. Great starting pay, great benefits. So if you're in the Fall River area, look up New Generation Transportation. They are hiring, because I know right now a lot of people are looking for jobs. So I'm letting you know, if you're in the Fall River, Boston area, hit them up. If you need a job, don't say I didn't warn you. And it's a great paying job. So go get your job. Now, let no man. What we got? I've definitely been tested and owe you so much a lot, unfortunately. Yeah. See? Look at that. See, that's the impact, right? That's the impact. And then you not being silent and using your big mouth, right?
That's
I mean,
so true.
It's true. I mean, it is what it is. Because what we do, we create bridges for a lot of people. That's opportunity.
Is that what bridging the gap is?
I think bridging the gap has various levels to it. It has a lot of layers.
I like
depending
that.
on the circumstances, right? Because we could talk about bridging the gap financially between black and whites, or injustice, or just creating opportunity. So there's layers to it, right? Now, what he just said.
Shabak asked, do we still think that we're slaves?
Who's we?
Good question.
Who? I was never
Do
a slave. That doesn't apply to me. My mindset, because it's a mindset.
Thank you.
I think it's a mindset. So because you could be rich and a slave, you could be white and a slave, you could be black and a slave, you could be in bondage to drugs.
A lot of people are slaves to social media. A lot of people are slaves to their computers.
Pornography, addiction,
So
drugs.
it just depends on
It's a mindset.
On what you're referring to as being a slave.
Correct.
There's so many things that you could be a slave to. Do I believe that I'm a slave? No, because I do not allow certain things to have full power or control over me, because I know I'm an individual. I make my own decisions. There's a time and place for everything, so I know how to coordinate that. At times I may fall short, but I get up and brush it off and ever forward.
Yeah. So
back to you, Alec.
Physically, you can physically chain a man, but if you can't chain his mind, he's never a slave. It's just impossible.
Right.
You can put me in a prison cell that's 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, and I am the freest person in that prison because my mind allows me to go places beyond those walls and my mindset, right? So for me, it doesn't work. What do we got now? What does it say?
Slave to them damn BBWs.
I mean, you could be a slave to that if that's your addiction. I mean, if that's your addiction, you could be a slave to that.
I needed that laugh. I needed a laugh.
Oh, now it shows up here. Yeah, I mean, you could be a slave to it if that's your addiction. I mean, hey, as a black brother, yeah, definitely a slave to that.
Look.
But I do believe, though, we need to, when he talked about never let somebody hate you enough to make you, I mean, never let somebody bring you down enough to make you hate them. A lot of people fall trapped to this. We got 2 minutes to, 1 minute to close this off, and then an iconic 60. So 30 seconds. What you got on that?
Oh, we have 5 minutes.
Oh, I got 5 minutes, so let's break this one down.
I mean, the iconic 60, I feel that the conversation is flowing. We could just flow with it.
Answer the question.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Because I fell victim many times to that. And hate is a very strong word. It's such a strong
detrimental.
word, very, very strong word. And they said that the
Look at you. Don't get that twitch in your eye now. Look at you. Uh,
the tongue is a very powerful thing.
is it
The
now?
things that come out of the mouth.
What?
Could
Life
cut
and
you,
death.
cut you very deep.
Life and death is in the power of the
hurts
tongue.
even harder than the actual sword itself.
Yeah, you could punch me. I'm gonna heal.
Certain things you just can't take back once you utter it forth. And
Tongue tied. Cat got your tongue. It's a heavy subject.
it's heavy.
It is
And I
heavy.
paused because it's so many contexts to that statement. And I've been there where I have. So I can't say that again, I'm imperfect. And this is why I'm able to sit here and share
Most
with
definitely.
people about my journey and what I would do differently and what I would encourage others to do differently. Take the time to heal. Take the time to understand what it is that you experienced, what it is that you went through, what you needed to learn from that situation, and how you could just take time for yourself and just heal. Because at the end of the day, if you allow somebody to take you there where you hate them or still harbor these feelings or emotions for that person, guess what? They'll forever be in control of you. They could easily push your buttons, and if somebody have you like a puppet on a string, that's a huge problem. And I've been there, done that, and I'm quite sure that a lot of people that have suffered, yourself, domestic violence, different things, abuse, sexual abuse, all of the above. It's a very, very thin line between the love and hate.
Okay, Martin Lawrence.
Okay, seriously, it is. It's a very thin line. And yeah, I've been there and it wasn't a nice feeling. However, you have to learn to let go and let God. And I say that so openly because you don't want to be in that dark space. You don't want to be into that place, that point of no return, because that person will forever have control over you. And I keep reiterating that because you're giving that person your power. And at the end of the day, that person is not even thinking about you.
You know what brings it? What was the name of the young lady that asked the question about slave?
Shabaka, I believe. I don't want to mispronounce your name.
So Shabaka, I'll go back to this one, and if I mispronounce your name, please excuse me, my ignorance. When you were talking about slaves, let's go back to this subject. You can you can be a slave to hate.
I like that.
You can be a slave to that. And
I was a slave to hate.
right, everybody was. A quick story, and I spoke about this, and Michael did a phenomenal meme video for me on this one. I spoke about a guy called Sidras, General Sidras, and the hell he put my family through, from raping my mother to making me flee the country of Haiti, coming to the United States, going from living like a king to living like a peasant. I remember when I found out that he owned a house on South Beach. I was in the 8th grade. I would skip school every day with a gun in my backpack, taking buses to South Beach to look for this guy with no direction. Hate drove me. You understand what I'm saying? It drove me till I was 29 years old. This guy was the forefront of my life from 8th grade till I was 29 years old.
That's deep.
I was obsessed with getting my hands on this guy because of the pain, the level of pain he caused my family. Right? Imagine somebody ordered 13 men to rape your mother. Imagine that. Can you imagine that?
Unimaginable.
Right?
Sorry.
Imagine somebody coming to your house and shoot up your whole house. Then you have to flee and run for your life.
Right.
Being torn from your mother, being torn from your loved ones, right? I carried that hate. The day I forgive, which is the recipe for hate. Because we got to give the other side to it. Because or else we're gonna continue to choke on it.
Exactly.
The day I learned how to really forgive. I mean, not just say it and held on to it.
Yeah, to me.
Because we say I let go and then we still holding on and festering. The moment somebody says something, we triggered. If you're triggered, then you're not really let go. The day I really learned to let go and let God, like you said, and forgive, Michelle, there was this weight that I carried for so long. I just felt it like it just left my body. Hate is a horrible master.
We need to take this topic into another show because this topic we could delve into on so many different levels. And I appreciate you bringing it there because for me, you know, when you said truly letting go and understanding it, and, you know, we have 1 minute to go, so we have to make this fast. The point I'm making is, and to drive it home is, it could really eat at you. It could sabotage your entire life, your health, all of the above. Yeah. I mean, for me, and speaking from experience, I had to learn to let go of that hatred because it was messing up my relationship.
Yeah.
Where I despised the opposite sex. I did not want to be touched. There were certain things that just triggered certain things, the smell, the way you did certain things. I just couldn't. And if you allow that to fester and just take over you, then how are you truly living? How are you living? And to bring it back again full circle, how are you living a full life if you're continuing to, you know, fester and harbor this hatred? Like everything that we've discussed comes back full circle. And I just appreciate this topic. And this is something that we could continue on and even create ways for the young adults, the children or youth that we're so passionate about, teaching them right from wrong and implementing strategies or programs that can help them, because these are things that we need to discuss with them because they're triggers for a lot of people and they don't understand it. They're like, oh, why are so many people having issues with gun violence, or why are the youth doing this and that? Because there's so many things that are going on internally that they're expressing externally, and all in the wrong ways.
So you guys caught another segment of Ikonic Konvo with
Diamonds
and Dijon Talks. We're going to catch you guys every first and third Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. These are the type of conversations we have. We're just going to end you guys on this note. The best way to overcome hate is to learn to truly forgive. Thank you guys for joining us, and we look forward to have another segment with you guys. We're going to definitely come back on the subject, but for now, have a blessed night. We love you, and we'll catch you next time.
Happy 2023!
Happy 2023, everybody. Bye.
Peace.